I think many of us have had the impression that when we talk about character or virtue, that we're talking about something that's fixed. In other words, I've internalized some set of values that characterize my behavior
Right.
throughout my life in a fairly fixed way. But now you were talking about Milgram and we've got the Zimbardo
That's right.
prison experiment, and these things seem to suggest that good systems versus bad systems of government, organizations, religions, hierarchies of authority, and so on, that's getting into that situational thing that you're talking about.
That's right. That's right. So this is complicated now. So first a comment on fixed, character being fixed, and then a comment on social pressures and norms. Uh, if character were fixed, that would be bad news for virtue ethics and for my own research and what I'm interested in. It'd be bad news for character change and development. I spend a lot of time thinking about ways which we could try to better our characters. Well, if they're fixed, then that's pointless.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, overwhelmingly, the empirical evidence does not support that position. There were a few people back in the 1980s who held it, but since then, in psychology I'm speaking about now, since then, overwhelmingly people have gravitated towards the view that character can change, but not quickly. So it's going to be slow, gradual change over time if it does change. So I can't snap my fingers and make myself an honest person tomorrow, but perhaps if I engage in the helpful practices and rituals and activities with the right kind of focus and support, I can make progress towards being honest over the course of months, years, and decades.
You
So
know,
we can
that makes me think of psychotherapy, just to cut in a little bit,
sure.
because there's that same sort of tension or debate in psychotherapy, depending upon the school of thought and so on. Some of the, particularly psychoanalytic and other depth psychologies, have a sense that it's going to take some time to make deep changes. And that's kind of similar to what you're saying. It just made
That's
me
right.
think of.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know much about that area, but that sounds exactly right as far as what personality psychology is suggesting, and certainly what philosophers have said, going all the way back to Plato and Aristotle. Which it's a two-edged sword here. On the one hand, it's good news that character can change. I think that's a
Mhm.
positive. So there is hope that we can change it in a positive, make progress towards virtue. On the other hand, it's slow, so there's no quick fixes here. There are no pills to take, no fingers to snap to make yourself a virtuous person. And it's not also a linear process. So it's not like you're guaranteed to always make progress towards virtue. You could also make progress towards vice, or you could make some gradual progress towards virtue and then have a setback, and then make more progress and have a setback as well. So there's no recipe that's guarantee you a way to bridge the character gap.
Mhm. And yeah, so you said that the conclusion you've been led to is that we are a mix,
That's right.
uh, and we're not all good, we're not all evil, and that certainly fits with my life observation and probably partly my orientation as a psychologist, and what drew me to psychology was as I got to know people, as I got to know my friends in high school and so on. Everybody has a story,
Right.
and nobody is ever, you don't get the whole story just on the surface of how they present themselves.